Hello and welcome in the lesson 3 of the OpenRefine course, where we will look at the OpenRefine project history and community. So we are in the lesson 1, Introduction to OpenRefine. In the two previous lessons, we've seen the data quality integration challenges and how Refine help to move toward an agile data process. So in this lesson, we will really look at from where OpenRefines come from and the different steps it's been through over the last 5 years, and how the community organizes itself. So OpenRefine has been created in 2009 by a company named MetaWeb Technology Inc. in the United States. MetaWeb was the editor of Freebase, which is a community-created database of well-known people, places, and things. You can see Freebase as a Wikipedia, but for machine. So instead of having pages, you have all the semantic web technology supporting it, so you can query and retrieve information from places, things, and people. So MetaWeb created in 2009 Freebase GridWorks, which was the first version of Refine. And Freebase GridWorks is a companion tool to import and export data from Freebase. So basically, the Freebase community was using Refine to clean, prepare the data before submitting them to Freebase to enrich the database. It's important to note that from day one, GridWorks and the Refine project has always been open source under the BSD license, and that's been the case through the different era of Refine. So in 2012, Google acquires MetaWeb Technology to integrate Freebase into the Google Knowledge Graph. And everybody knows the Google Knowledge Graph, and I've experienced it at some point. When in Google you search for a well-known place, things, or person, you have this box on the right presenting key information. Most of those information are extracted from Freebase and shows a relationship, for example, from soccer player, team you've played, and the next game is going to play. As Google integrated Freebase, it also carry on and with the GridWorks tool. It rebranded to Google Refine, and the engineering team released the version 2 in 2010 and 2.5 in 2011. However, in November 2012, Google decided to stop supporting the project, leaving it for the open source community for support. Choice have been made to rebrand the project from Google Refine to OpenRefine, asserting the open source aspect of it. And the community also moved the project to GitHub. In 2013, OpenRefine 2.6 beta is released. So looking at OpenRefine is one part, but where really the project take all its magnitude is through its community and extension and companion service that have been developed around it. So Refine goes from import and ingestion of data, processing in the main interface before doing an export in different data type. What's make it interesting is all the reconciliation services that have been developed by different Refine audiences. Plugin to extend the functionality, extension to process data through API like Alchemy API, Datatext, or Zementa, new distribution, and project under development. So we will go through each of those parts in details. So reconciliation services are web server sitting outside of Refine and enables the user to align and enrich data against them. So let's say, for example, you work in a biodiversity, biology university department, and you have a list of plants you are currently working on. There is several reconciliation services like UBio that will allow you to send your list of plants name against the UBio reconciliation service, so you can align them against the nomenclature and then import data that are in UBio. So we have most of reconciliation services are around biodiversity, library, and librarians use it to clean metadata about books or journals collection. What we mean by personal data is a reconciliation service where you can load your own data, and a lot have been done by the Open Knowledge Foundation here by developing Reconcile CSV, Sparkle endpoint on the Nomenclatura project. And finally, more generic and general dataset like Open Corporate that provide a list of corporations in each country, DBpedia, which is very similar to Freebase that we've seen introduced before, or the Influence Explorer by the Sunlight Foundation that lists donors and lobbyists in the United States. So moving in the lower part of our map of the ecosystem, batch processing services and library enable user to replay step recorded in Refine and created lightweight ETL process. It's something we will see more in details further in the course. Extension enable developers to add set of functionality to Refine core. Often those extensions are industry specific. The link media frameworks, for example, is used by, and the RDF extension are used by people working a lot with semantic web technology. The bits VIB is generic and general Refine extension adding functionalities. The stats extension allow you to compute some statistic about your field and so on. And finally, API processing plugin and extension enable a seamless data processing with API-based services. So, for example, if we take the Alchemy API, you can do name entity extraction and sentiment analysis. You can take a list of tweets, for example, send them in one click to Alchemy API to have automatically a result on sentiment in this tweet is positive, negative, or neutral, for example. Finally, new distribution works really on a domain-specific integration. The GeoKB, for example, tightly, or the Open Data Rise, tightly integrates the process from taking data and loading them in the GeoKB repository or a CCAN repository. Project under development explore new functionality like making running OpenRefine on Spark or allowing stronger batch processing capabilities. And finally, Refine Pro offer hosted version of Refine.